Preludes and Fugues for piano in all of the traditional church modes, and this is the title page of that piece, intricate score page. And so here you get the subtitle Preludes and Fugues in the modes, inspired by the 9 Muses from Greek mythology. And so I was inspired to write Preludes and Fugues because they're just it's a great art form. And I needed a sort of house or like a structure to fit them into. And the first thing I thought of was modes, because I love modes. They're just intoxicating and amazing to compose in. So here you have all the modes going through. There's 7 modes, all 7 of them, with additional modes along the way. So like C Ionian is basically C major, D Dorian, it's minor with a raised 6, and so on and so forth. E Phrygian here, F Lydian over here, G Mixolydian, and then today's mode is going to be A Aeolian, which is basically natural minor, so it's dark sounding today. And you can see all of the muses that I connected with those modes based on their characteristics. So for example, Terpsichore, the first muse up there, is the muse of choral song and dance. And so my fugue for Terpsichore is a dance-like. And so I really connected a lot of the personalities of these muses that were created, stories, myths over the millennia. We're talking ancient Greece, so about 2,000 years ago, and throughout the course of history. So for example, like D Dorian, that muse is often depicted holding 2 recorders, and so like, flute type instruments, recorders, those recorders. And so I have a double fugue for that piece. So I really tried to connect elements of my music with elements of personality and characteristics of the muses, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. Erato, the muse of love and lyric poetry, is also known for mimicry, and so the prelude in Erato starts with this kind of motive, and it's mimicked in the fugue. The fugue subject goes like this. And you can hear the Phrygian aspect of that melody. Talia is the muse of pastoral poetry and comedy. It's often depicted holding a theatrical comedy mask. And today is this is Halloween, right? And masks. It's a great month to present this. Because today I'm going to be talking about the muses, or the muse today mostly is Melpomene, who carries a tragic mask. Have you ever seen those masks, the comedy and tragedy masks that people often put up on their walls? Well, they're from these muses, apparently. And so I'm going to be talking about the tragedy, the tragic mask of Melpomene, muse of tragedy, the melodious one. So let's get into it. And so here are some modern, the depiction on the left is artwork from a modern depiction of Melpomene, and you can see her, it looks like some kind of card from a game. You can see the mask, the tragedy mask, and the knife. It's a little graphic, but her eyes are whited out. And when you're talking about tragedy, you've got to have a skull for good measure, so throw the skull in there, right? And so get the muse of tragedy, the melodious one. So this artwork was from 2013, which you can see here. Then this is a sculpture, and this is from Rome. You can see the details here. Roman statue of Melpomene from the 2nd century AD. It's like year 150. It's a long time ago. And so Melpomene is known for singing songs of mourning for poets or people of accomplishment. And there's this really cool book called the Encyclopedia of Ancient Deities that I got that from. So, and you can see the mask here. Pretty ominous face, and what looks like apparently a club or maybe part of a sword or a knife. here today is a musical depiction of these works of art, visual and sculpture. And so check this out. I'm going to break down some of the motivic components of the prelude. So I call it the many masks of the motive. And let me play this for you first. Play an excerpt and then break it down for you. This is from the prelude. Up here you get theme 1. It's A minor, it's Aeolian, and it's natural minor. Right, that's the bass line and the harmony for that. So it's dark, it's minor. What makes it Aeolian is the G natural in the second measure. That's a G there in the bass. And then walking down, it's a walking bass line, descending bass. But here's the thing that connects this piece. It's the half-step motive. So if you look on the top soprano in the little red box, this is bass clef. Get that solemn, the tempo marking lugubriously. It means sad in a mournful way. And so I use that word a lot in my pieces, but I'm not mournful, right? The music is. But I want to track this half step and the different masks it wears, if you will. And so you hear it at the beginning like that. It soon changes. Going up to this F9 chord and so on, right? Watch how the half step changes. In B flat, the Neapolitan. Those students in my Theory 3 class right now, you know this chord. Here it is. I put it in root position. This is the second theme. It's in B flat major. But look at the half step on the bottom now on the tenor. Here's the half step, but now it reaches up. Here it is again. Half step, go to the reaching third. So let's track that half step. Oh, here's another cool thing. I just found this yesterday, actually. If you look at the green, the key relationship between A minor and B flat major for theme 2, what's the interval? Half step. So I like to call it the half step motive is composed out. It's used for structural entities or structure. It's just structure. A minor to A to B flat to half step. So I'm really obsessed with this half step interval. Or I was when I wrote this in March, not too long ago. Here's another half step. This is the middle section. I'm playing just in the And so I planned on that as the peak. So that's really how the piece is put together. So that's the prelude in terms of motivic entities. But what makes a tragedy? Right? The death of the main character, or the human suffering that befalls them, or their group. And this is Romeo and Juliet, the famous Shakespearean play, which is a great example of a tragedy. I don't want to spoil it, but they both die in the end. I think you know that. Hamlet, these are examples of tragedies from plays, from operas, and Netflix. Hamlet by Shakespeare, look at the dates here, 1597, all the way to 2010. Carmen, Bizet, that's the famous opera. La Bohème by Puccini. Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. Waiting for Godot, a favorite of mine. Requiem for a Dream, it's a film. And then The Walking Dead, it's also a Netflix series, right? Pretty much any zombie movie, it's a tragedy, right? But what makes this music a tragedy, right? So what makes music tragic? Well, the death of the main character, or the death of a theme. In this case, the death of theme 1. And so, to me, I consider it to be this. Watch what happens. We go from theme 1 in the bass, which was A minor, right? Get this very striking F augmented major 7th chord. It's the first time you hear this chord in the piece, but I consider it the death of that theme. Theme 1, the main character. Theme 2 wins, if you will. But we're in the wrong key. It's G major. We're not supposed to be here. Well, okay. I'm just going to go to here. Okay. So we're in the right key. But theme 2 takes the cake or the prize or whatever you say. Theme 2 wins in the end. And so it's that's tragic for theme 1. All right, so that's the prelude, and I'll play it for you at 1 o'clock. The fugue is a fugue with the prelude, and so I want to talk about what I call the many masks of the main character, the subject of the fugue, and how it changes over time. Look at this mask. It's a sculpture out of, I think, marble, I'm assuming. Look at the eyes. It's just like a mask you would buy at the store that has cutouts in the eyes so that you can see when you're walking. Look at that. That's really cool. So whoever sculpted this was very artful, skillful, and they knew what it would take to, what a mask looks like. The fugue, what is a fugue? Well, a fugue is basically a process where you get this woven collection of different keys in one tune. One tune is woven through different keys, basically. It's known, the word fugue means flight, it comes from flying, and so you get a tune that takes off and flies. But it's also associated with chase, so the melodies chase each other in a way. I have a Prolation fugue. It's a fugue of different speeds. So my subject is going to be heard at different speeds, and I'm going to walk you through those today. Here's the main subject. And I'll play a little bit of it so you can get a sense of what it sounds like. By the way, the score, again, is up on the QR code if you want to follow. Here's measure 5. Subject. Now on the soprano. measure 146. We have a different, even different mask that this subject's wearing. You have this is up here on the top. Rectus means like straight up, or original. How it's presented originally. But here's the original. Rather slow. Watch how it changes, it transformation of the subject. It dominates this ending, by the way. So this is, I'm going to play here, this is bass clef, and this is in A, so it's basically like this. So you get the outline in the original tune, the fifth right here, and walking down, dipping down to G and then back through. But I changed it, I added some eighth notes to give it more momentum. So. And if you hear this whole thing, it's got this Stravinsky-esque bass, vibrato bass happening. Subject in the bass. And so on and so forth. I'll play it for you at 1 o'clock, but that's how it's put together. So what does this all mean? Well, at the climax of the piece, the climax of the fugue, you get four, can you see that? 4 simultaneous prolations or speeds of the subject at once. So here's the original. And in colors, you can see all the different versions of this subject, the 4 speeds. And you see in red, rectus. I'll play that first. Now I'm at a faster tempo, because that's my general tempo for all of them, at 108. But if you divide 108 in half, what do you get? 54. The original tempo was at a half note, 54. And so now I'm at whole notes in this rectus in red. So they amount to the same thing orally. So this, what you're about to hear, it's going to sound like the opening. It's just written differently to accommodate all the different speeds that are happening together. It's also called organum to add fourths or fifths above a given bass, and so it's a Renaissance thing. I was inspired by the Renaissance. Anyway, put them together, the orange and red, and you get this, look. So, 2 different speeds of the same tune. notes, the one, that transformation in green at the top. Put it all together. I'll just play from the piano score, which is below. But I wanted to show you those four parts together. Here's the piano score, what I'm playing from. It's a lot to handle, so I had to put the bass in these grace notes. So you'll see me jump around all over the place. Okay. I'll have to do that to see it. Okay, here. All four, it's four different speeds at the same tune at once. Subject to the quarter notes wins, in quotes. It's that transformation character, the very short one, is strewn across the piano, or smoked, or hit across the piano. And so you get contrary motion here to end P's. And so, yeah, the transformational tune is the victor, if you will. So I've got this down here. Sostenuto pedal, no hands. Give me a second to adjust the technology to get the actual score up here. But yeah, here's the piece. It's
Amen.